Welcome to your week in review here on WINN FM 98.9 for the period August 4th through 9th. Making the news last week, St. Kitts and Nevis, a small nation on the front line of a global crisis. St. Kitts and Nevis, Beyond Passports, a journey of legacy and contribution. Bolstering the judicial front, ECCB and RSS partner to combat financial crime. A legacy honored, Garvey's enduring message echoes in St. Kitts and Nevis. FAO Country Programming Framework session addresses resilience and food security in St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Kitts and Nevis outlines priorities for trade capacity building at OAS meeting. CBI, a catalyst for tourism in St. Kitts and Nevis. SCN Chief Immigration Officer on digital border management in addressing border security. Now, the details. St. Kitts and Nevis remains on the front lines of climate change alongside many other small island developing states, SIDS, who stay keenly aware that it is a present-day emergency. During the recent regular meeting of the Organization of American States OAS, Augustine Scarrett, Minister Consular and alternate representative to Her Excellency Jacinth Henry Martin, Ambassador and permanent representative to the OAS, drew focus on the Federation's fight for climate justice, adaptability, and sustainability. The OAS actively supports member states in managing natural disaster risks and promotes regional cooperation and capacity building for climate change adaptation. Scarrett's address highlighted the severe and immediate impacts of climate change on SIDS, countries particularly vulnerable due to their remote economies, reliance on external markets, and exposure to natural disasters. SIDS, including St. Kitts and Nevis, face rising sea levels, intensifying storms, and coral reef degradation. Despite contributing less than 1% of global greenhouse gas emissions, SIDS bear a disproportionate burden, with annual climate adaptation costs estimated between US $22 billion and US $26 billion.
My delegation co-sponsored this important declaration advanced by Antigua and Barbuda, not just as a vulnerable small island developing state, but as a voice from the front line of a global crisis highlighted by the ICJ opinion. From the Twin Island state of St. Kitts and Nevis, we watch the tides rise, the storms intensify, and the coral reefs fade. We are a small nation, yes, but our stakes in this fight against climate change is immeasurably large. In response, we are not just standing still. In 2022, our government launched the Sustainable Island State Agenda, anchored on seven key pillars, including energy transition, water security, and sustainable industries. Under this framework, we have invested in solar infrastructure, LED street lighting, smart electricity meters, wind turbines, and we are advancing geothermal development. We have banned single-use plastics, enacted legislation to protect coral implemented climate action plans in tourism. For us, climate change is not a future problem. It is a present-day emergency. It threatens our food security, our fresh water supply, our infrastructure, and our very way of life.
The Sustainable Island State Agenda, launched in 2022, provides a comprehensive roadmap for St. Kitts and Nevis's transformation, built on 7 foundational pillars: energy transition, water security, food security, sustainable industries, sustainable settlements, circular economy, and health and social protection. Under this agenda, the Federation has made significant investments in renewable energy and water infrastructure, which include the Bastille desalination plant, geothermal development on Nevis, and solar infrastructure.
In response, St. Kitts and Nevis has completed over 70% of a $2 million gallon per day desalination plant, which is set to be operational before the end of this year, 2025. This desalination plant is expected to enhance water security and provide sustainable water supply to the residents of St. Kitts and Nevis. Additionally, the building of a geothermal facility on Nevis is a main priority for our federal government. The plant is envisioned to provide baseload renewable energy for both islands, contributing significantly to energy independence.
Scarrett concluded by affirming the Federation's readiness to collaborate with the OAS to forge a more equitable and sustainable future.
Still, our national carbon print is negligible. Yet we bear the disproportionate burden of this global crisis. This is not just environmental, it is a question of climate justice because the very existence of small island developing states like ours is on the line. Chair, we urge the global community, especially major emitters, to act with urgency, provide the promised climate financing, support technological transfer, strengthen regional cooperation through mechanisms like the OAS, because the survival of countries like St. Kitts and Nevis is tied to the collective future of our hemisphere. Let us move beyond pledges to policies, from aspiration to action. The time is now, Chair.
The Federation's efforts align with the regional push for climate justice, emphasizing the past harms, including disproportionate burdens on SIDS, necessitate financial compensation and support. St. Kitts and Nevis has actively engaged in developing national climate change adaptation strategies and plans to reduce vulnerability and mitigate impacts across various sectors. The narrative surrounding economic citizenship either focuses on risk to security for larger countries, concerns about criminal financing, or on the tangible benefits of global mobility and an improved lifestyle. However, for individuals like George Nwangu, an economic citizen from Nigeria, the essence of St. Kitts and Nevis citizenship transcends these immediate advantages or concerns, delving into the profound realms of legacy, community contribution, and shared purpose. In an interview on the St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship by Investment Unit's YouTube channel, he speaks about his 5-year journey as a Kittitian, offering a compelling perspective on the actual value of the Citizenship by Investment CBI program.
It's been an amazing journey. So there's several benefits to being a citizen. Of course, being able to travel around the world, being able to proudly be a Kittitian is a privilege.
However, Nwangu quickly shifts the focus from transactional gains to the deeper meaning of citizenship.
But I know that the most important thing about being a citizen is being able to contribute to your new country. The most important aspect of the CBI program, I think, is having that shared heritage, the people, and being so. Most times, people look at the CBI program like as bringing in money. It is the value that citizens will bring to this country that really matters. It's the value.
He encourages fellow economic citizens and investors to adopt a similar mindset.
Look at the economy. Where can I contribute? How can I contribute? How can I make, what legacy do I want to leave here? And that's really important.
This call for action highlights the entrepreneurial opportunities available in St. Kitts and Nevis. Nwangu concludes by emphasizing the dual appeal of the Twin Island nation.
This is a really nice place. The CBI program has a lot of value, it has a lot of quality, and just coming here alone, there are opportunities, a lot of opportunities for an entrepreneur like myself. I feel that there's so many things to do to add value. The key is adding value, and there's so many things to do for returns. So this is a really nice place to not just relax, but to do business. And I encourage everyone to look at it deeply. It's very enriching in so many ways.
Hussein Ghanem, a businessman and economic citizen originally from the Gambia, West Africa, shares how St. Kitts and Nevis has become his second home for the last 2 years and how it's changed his life.
So, to be very honest, it's been life-changing. I'm a businessman, and one of the main things that drew me to getting this citizenship was, of course, freedom in mobility, to be able to travel. So the passport has made my life a lot easier in that I don't have to spend weeks and months in advance to plan my travel, to apply for visas. It's actually opened up the world to me. It's made doing business a lot easier for me. And also it's actually given me a second option. So, instead of just having all my eggs in one basket, I can safely say that now I have roots here in St. Kitts. And it's one of the things that has been appealing to people like us. We want to come and see this second citizenship we hold, what roots can we plant here? And so it's been an absolutely life-changing thing, and we hope to have a long-lasting relationship with our new country.
Ghanem shared how drawing parallels helped with settling into the Federation.
To be honest, I thought it was going to be maybe a culture shock or learning curve. But after coming here, I've been able to draw parallels between, again, the country where I'm from. Gambia is a small ex-British colony, very similar to St. Kitts and Nevis. But then again, I've seen big similarities in the hospitality of people, the openness to sharing, the welcoming attitude of the people here. It really mirrors an island state because everyone is always happy, everyone is smiling. The food has been absolutely phenomenal. And as I said, the people are just charming and welcoming people. And why wouldn't someone want to be a part of this?
The words of both men encapsulate the vision behind the CBI program, to not only offer a secure pathway to citizenship, but also to foster a community of engaged global citizens who are invested in the long-term prosperity and cultural richness of the Federation. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank ECCB, in collaboration with the Regional Security System RSS and with funding from the Caribbean Development Bank CDB, recently concluded a 5-day intensive training workshop in St. Kitts and Nevis. The training aimed to enhance the capacity of the judiciary within the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States (OECS) to effectively address financial investigations and asset recovery procedures, particularly in the face of evolving trends in money laundering, terrorism, and proliferation financing. The ECCB has strategically balanced prudential supervision with anti-money laundering, combating the financing of terrorism, supervision, adopting an integrated approach. The proactive stance includes periodically reviewing processes and procedures to align with international best practices and address emerging risks within the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union (ECCU). The decision to designate the ECCB as the regulatory authority for AML-CFT for its licenses in 2016 stemmed from a need to address deficiencies cited in Caribbean Financial Action Task Force mutual evaluation reports and to promote uniformity in AML-CFT supervision frameworks. The recent training brought together over 50 members of the judiciary, including judges, magistrates, crown prosecutors, and financial investigators from across the OECS. These sessions facilitated crucial interactions, allowing participants to discuss challenges and identify opportunities for improvement in the administration of justice. The curriculum was robust, covering contemporary topics such as jurisprudence related to virtual assets and the impact of artificial intelligence on the accuracy of evidential submissions in court. Chief Director of Policy at the ECCB, D. Tracy Polius, underscored the vital role of the judiciary in this ongoing battle.
This training recognizes the importance and critical role of the judiciary in the fight against money laundering, terrorist and proliferation financing, and the impact on the effectiveness of any applied framework.
She emphasized that the training was specifically designed for the judiciary to strengthen their understanding of both the legal and operational elements of anti-money laundering, combating the financing of terrorism, offering practical exposure to investigative and prosecutorial processes.
Our legal frameworks, though significantly strengthened, are only as effective as the people entrusted to interpret and apply them. This is where this training becomes not just useful, but essential.
Polius detailed the 4 critical areas of focus for the training.
The current AML, CFT, CPF legal framework within the region, financial investigations and asset recovery processes, understanding the current and emerging money laundering, terrorist and proliferation financing trends, and international obligations under the FATF standards. The importance of these focus areas and the impact which they can have on our judicial system cannot be overemphasized.
Polius stressed the immense impact these focus areas can have on the judicial system.
Training for our judiciary can contribute to effective prosecution and convictions of money laundering cases, the admittance and evaluation of evidence, and most importantly, the application of penalties which are proportionate to the severity of the crime and acts as an effective deterrent. 2. The seizure, freezing, and confiscation of criminal proceeds to facilitate the recovery of assets across borders is fundamental to an effective system.
Keisha Sutherland, director of the RSS Asset Recovery Unit, issued a stern warning about the evolving nature of global criminal networks.
Ladies and gentlemen, the world has evolved significantly since 2015, and so too have the operations of criminal networks and the innovative ways being used to finance illicit activities impacting our country. But three things remain constant: the presence of illicit financing flows in the region, the successes of applying financial investigation and asset recovery mechanisms when seeking to disrupt criminality, and the importance of building understanding and capacity within each branch of the state to effectively counter illicit financing and criminality, and ensure that the countries remains on their path to reap the benefits of sustainable economic development.
The OECS's historically open economies are highly reliant on international trade and commerce, making them susceptible to money laundering and terrorism financing risks. The completion of this training signifies a collective commitment within the region to advance the effectiveness of their legal systems, ensuring that justice can be dispensed effectively in an ever-changing financial crime landscape. On August 6th, a significant ceremony unfolded on the historic shores of Pump Bay commemorating the arrival of Marcus Garvey in St. Kitts in 1937. The event, attended by Dr. Julius Garvey, son of the revered Pan-Africanist, alongside government officials, citizens, and residents, saw the unveiling of a powerful memorial park and port marker. This tribute marked a profound welcome to the very shores where Garvey's footsteps once touched the island, and where his enduring message of Black pride, Pan-African unity, and self-determination continues to resonate today. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew, underscored the historical weight of the occasion, expressing gratitude for Dr. Julius Garvey's presence.
Dr. Julius Garvey, who has made the pilgrimage to the hallowed ground upon which his father stood. We thank you for stirring our ancestral memory about this important epoch in our national history, and for bringing a message of healing, courage, and hope to the people of our great federation.
The Prime Minister further emphasized the vital lessons from history, particularly the transatlantic slave trade, highlighting
the invaluable importance of strength when we come together as one people.
He stressed the continued need for unity to
survive not only, but to thrive in today's world, where divisions of class and race continue to pose challenges.
This sentiment aligns with Garvey's own belief that no man can keep another man down without being kept down himself, and his challenge to the people that your St. Kitts will be no greater than your minds. Following the Pump Bay ceremony, the delegation proceeded to the Mutual Improvement Society building on Market Street, Bastyr, where Marcus Garvey had delivered a stirring address in 1937. Parliamentary Representative for Constituency No. 2, the Honourable Marcia Henderson, spoke with immense pride about her community's role in shaping the nation's intellectual and cultural landscape.
This community has, in fact, produced trailblazers and icons in all areas. And it is no coincidence that it was the site selected to construct the headquarters of the St. Kitts Mutual Improvement Society.
Henderson elaborated on the Mutual Improvement Society's pivotal role, describing it as
more than just a literary society. It was a platform for the Black intelligentsia to discuss, to debate, and engage in intellectual pursuits.
She highlighted its embodiment of
Ubuntu, a distinctly African principle that says, I am because we are. The MIS was focused on building community and working together to improve our conditions, to display compassion and kindness and brotherly love and, of course, sisterly love in the interest of the progressive welfare of our people.
Henderson further articulated how Garvey's message of self-awareness, education, and individual empowerment resonates deeply with the nation's vision for a sustainable island state. She drew parallels between Garvey's calls for
taking control of our lives, developing our minds, and striving for greatness resonates deeply with our vision as a sustainable island state. Our tourism strategy is built on the principles of sustainability, community engagement, and environmental stewardship.
The Venture Deeper campaign, she explained, encourages visitors to explore the island's vibrant culture and history, promoting
community-based tourism initiatives, authentic cultural encounters, and sustainable practices that benefit both our visitors and our locals.
She concluded by urging collective effort, envisioning a tourism industry rooted in Ubuntu, benefiting people, the environment, and the economy.
Together, we can build a more sustainable and a more equitable tourism industry that benefits our people, our environment, and our economy. Let us together make Bastia beautiful once again.
Dr. Julius Garvey shared a deeply emotional perspective on the visit, reflecting on his father's original message in 1937, which aimed
to liberate our minds from mental slavery, because we'd just been through slavery and we were in the throes of colonialism.
He emphasized Marcus Garvey's profound understanding that
the black skin was not a badge of shame, but really a symbol of greatness.
Dr. Garvey highlighted his father's extensive self-education and belief that
education was something that you really do for yourself, because none but yourself can liberate your mind.
He quoted his father's timeless advice.
There's all the knowledge is in the world, and all you have to do is pursue that knowledge. And whatever knowledge you want, you can accomplish that knowledge, you can gain that knowledge. Because it's there already in the world. And the way to access that knowledge, of course, is to read, and read.
Dr. Julius Garvey further elaborated on his father's philosophy that,
and as he said, knowledge is power. He said, intelligence rules the world and ignorance carries the burden. And in the pursuit of knowledge, he felt that the most important knowledge really ultimately was self-knowledge. Because if you know yourself, that gives you such a feeling that nobody can be your master. You have no earthly master.
He stressed that the most crucial knowledge is self-knowledge.
There's all the knowledge is in the world, and all you have to do is pursue that knowledge. And whatever knowledge you want, you can accomplish that knowledge, you can gain that knowledge, because it's there already in the world. And the way to access that knowledge, of course, is to read, and read.
Dr. Garvey reminded the audience that while God provides the land, it is humanity's responsibility to build the cities and create the desired future. He urged the people of St. Kitts and Nevis to embrace this co-creative role, making their beautiful land even more prosperous and equitable. He concluded with his father's enduring motto.
So one God, one aim, one destiny, one love. Thank you very much.
These ceremonies at Pump Bay and where the Mutual Improvement Society building stood served as a powerful reminder of Marcus Garvey's lasting impact on St. Kitts and Nevis. On August 1st, 2025, the Department of Agriculture in St. Kitts convened for the FAO Country Programming Framework CPF session. The discussions focused on evaluating the progress of the 2022-2026 framework and exploring the next phase of the Resilient Caribbean Initiative. The aim was to ensure that all efforts remained aligned with the national priorities and to fortify the collaborative relationship between the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, and the Government of St. Kitts and Nevis. The FAO Country Programming Framework, CPF, for St. Kitts 2022-2026 is a strategic document delineating the FAO's core areas of technical cooperation and its medium-term programming to bolster the Government of St. Kitts and Nevis. The framework is linked with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and the Twin Island Nations' own Sustainable Island State Agenda, particularly concerning agriculture, food security, and rural advancement. It reflects St. Kitts and Nevis's National Development Plan along with COVID-19 recovery strategies and other pertinent documents related to agriculture, food security, and rural development. The CPF defines precisely where FAO will extend its technical cooperation and support to the government over its 4-year span. The CFP centers on 3 pivotal strategic areas: inclusive rural transformation aimed at fostering sustainable agri-food systems and cultivate equitable rural societies. Food and feed systems is dedicated to enhancing agricultural and food systems, thereby promoting improved nutrition and a healthier environment. And resilience and risk management, designed to augment the country's capacity to manage risks and build resilience in the face of climate change and other unforeseen challenges. St. Kitts and Nevis, like many other small island developing states, SIDS is particularly vulnerable to the severe impacts of climate change, including rising sea levels, more intense storms, and shifting weather patterns. These climatic shifts directly threaten the nation's coastlines, water security, and food systems. The country's economy, heavily reliant on industries such as tourism, face significant risks from these environmental threats. Damage from hurricanes, tourism losses, and rising sea levels is projected to cost the Caribbean $22 billion annually by 2050. The Resilient Caribbean Initiative actively supports St. Kitts and Nevis in addressing these vulnerabilities. It aims to improve water resource efficiency for increased agricultural productivity through an integrated water, energy, food nexus approach, which includes promoting technological innovations such as solar-powered micro-irrigation systems, hydroponics, and rainwater harvesting to enhance water efficiency and management. Furthermore, the initiative aims to foster access to clean, climate-smart energy like solar and wind power to boost agricultural water productivity. Aquaculture plays a pivotal role in strengthening food security, especially given the Caribbean region's high food import dependency. The initiative supports St. Kitts and Nevis's efforts to develop its agriculture industries to enhance the resilience of its fisheries and aquaculture sector. During a regular meeting of the Organization of American States on July 29, 2025, Augustine Skerritt, Minister Consular and alternate representative to Ambassador Her Excellency Jacinth Henry Martin, addressed the critical theme for the second semester, capacity building to improve trade in the Americas as a pillar of inclusive and sustainable development. This focus underscores the understanding that actual economic development necessitates strategic engagement and robust investment in human capital and institutional frameworks, allowing all nations to participate effectively in global trade. The OAS, recognizing this imperative, is committed to developing a comprehensive roadmap for capacity building designed to enhance trade throughout the Americas. This roadmap will be rooted in the specific priorities of its member states and informed by empirical evidence and best practices. The OAS endeavors to strengthen institutional capacities of its member states to design and execute public policies and programs related to micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises and trade through initiatives such as training and sharing of lessons learned. Minister Consular Skerritt articulated St. Kitts and Nevis's alignment with the OAS's strategic direction, highlighting areas of particular significance for the Federation.
We believe that the work plan you have presented is quite relevant as it speaks to some of the issues that are of particular importance to us. For example, my country is consistently working on improving the ease of doing business, a matter that speaks directly to our ability to be competitive on the world trade stage.
Improving the ease of doing business is a widespread initiative across the Americas, with various efforts aimed at streamlining regulatory processes and fostering innovation. Skerritt also pointed to the budgeting sectors of fintech and e-commerce as crucial for modern trade.
Equally important is the fintech and e-commerce aspects. These topics, because the development of these areas of trade are essential in order to do business and engage in trade in a modern environment, in a modern world.
Indeed, fintech solutions, including blockchain-based applications, AI-driven financial products, and embedded finance, are rapidly redefining financial services across Latin America and beyond. Cross-border e-commerce, too, is experiencing significant growth, breaking down geographical barriers and necessitating advanced digital infrastructure. Skerritt concluded his address by expressing optimism for collaborative advancement.
Therefore, we look forward to exchanging best practices and following this work plan to the benefit of all as the OS does its part in enhancing and increasing our trade capacity and efficiency. May it please you, Chair.
The Twin Island Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis continues to leverage its Citizenship by Investment (CBI) program as a crucial driver for its budgeting tourism sector. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Tivana Wharton, recently shed light on how this initiative is instrumental in boosting the nation's economic backbone. Wharton emphasized the symbiotic relationship between tourism and the CBI program, particularly in facilitating significant infrastructural development. She noted that tourism is the primary economic engine for St. Kitts and Nevis, accounting for over 60% of the nation's gross domestic product, GDP. A prominent example of this synergy is the luxurious Park Hyatt St. Kitts, a 5-star resort located on Banana Bay within the Christoph Harbor Resort community.
As we know, tourism is the lifeblood of our economy. It contributes to over 60% of our GDP. And so tourism supports livelihoods, it supports communities. And so I believe the CBI is a perfect complement to our advancement in the tourism industry. Right where we are today, the Park Hyatt is as a result of our CBI program, right? And so it brought luxury to our tourism product. And so the CBI allows for us to continue funding our infrastructural development and other tourism-related advancements. And so it's the perfect complement.
Beyond iconic resorts, the CBI program supports broader economic growth. While tourism is the primary industry contributing the most to GDP and employment, other sectors such as agriculture and light manufacturing also play a role. The government actively supports agriculture to diversify the economy and ensure food security with CBI investments, enhancing agro-tourism and local infrastructure. Despite the benefits, the CBI program has faced scrutiny regarding transparency and accountability from international partners. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew, recently expressed that work continues to address the concerns international partners may have with the program.
Notwithstanding, of course, their continued discussion, I have engaged in multiple discussions, multiple fora in the Caribbean, in the US, in Europe, and so forth, dealing with the issue of the CBI program and adjusting it accordingly. We have reached the point, and something that I advocated for very strongly, is to have a regional regulator so that those of us in the Eastern Caribbean can be on the same playing field and have a standard that protects us and, of course, would allay any fears that our international partners may have with respect to our CBI program. I can safely say that in short order, we all are going to Parliament to pass a law and implement a regulator for the CBI in the Eastern Caribbean, which will answer a number of the questions that you have put forward. Questions to answer of direct link to the country. There's link, but there might be questions as to whether that can be strengthened.
The CBI program continues to be viewed as a critical mechanism for St. Kitts and Nevis to sustain its economic development and enhance its position as a premier Caribbean tourism destination. Chief Immigration Officer Sheldon Jeffers, speaking on the July 30th, 2025 In Focus broadcast, shed light on the intricacies of immigration procedures in the Federation. The new ETA system represents a significant milestone in St. Kitts and Nevis' commitment to digital transformation, strengthening national security, and enhancing the tourism experience. According to Chief Immigration Officer Jeffers, regional and international collaboration is paramount to national security efforts, particularly in combating threats such as human smuggling and human trafficking.
I think without that regional support and that international support, without the sharing of information, I don't think we would accomplish anything in the interest of national security, and especially if we are to eradicate those environmental threats like human smuggling, human trafficking. I think having that international and regional support is very critical to what we do.
St. Kitts and Nevis actively participates in regional security frameworks. The Advanced Passenger Information and Passenger Name Amendment Bill 2025, passed on May 15, 2025, strengthens the legal and operational framework for the ETA rollout, allowing for real-time multi-layered screening of travelers. Passenger data will now be submitted simultaneously to both local authorities and the CARICOM Implementation Agency for Crime and Security Impacts. The dual submissions ensures alignment with international standards set by the International Civil Aviation Organization, the International Air Transport Association, and the World Customs Organization. Chief Immigration Officer Jeffers highlighted the Federation's pioneering role within CARICOM.
St. Kitts and Nevis have always been a trendsetter in regional, in CARICOM in particular. A lot of things that CARICOM implemented, we are always the first to do it, and then the others follow. I said that to say there was a CARICOM model legislation in human smuggling. We were the first in CARICOM to pass it last year in June. There is a API, Advanced Passenger Information and Passenger Name Record Bill, in CARICOM as well. We were the first up until today to have passed that legislation. And I think the introduction and the launching of the ETA would have advanced that particular bill. And in the particular bill is everything that I would have spoken about with respect to sharing of information, protecting our borders in the interest of national security.
The ETA system itself incorporates artificial intelligence for risk assessments. Travelers from visa-exempt countries will be required to apply online in advance, undergo biometric and AI-powered risk assessments, and receive a digital travel credential.
A good portion of the ETA system is based on AI, the use of AI.
Emphasizing its critical role in advancing national and border security. Regarding the service charge, a discount of $8.50 US is in effect until September 1st, 2025, after which the standard $17 US charge will apply. Chief Immigration Officer Jeffers addressed the fee.
I have never seen throughout the world there are a lot of ETAs, and there are none that is free. With everything, there is a cost. There is a cost of obviously involved in maintaining this system, and so that is where the service charge really goes into to maintain the system. But to be truthful, Mr. Johnson, the service that you're expected to receive upon arrival, it outweighs the cost of the ETA.
Citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as citizens of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States and CARICOM member states, are exempt from the ETA requirement, but must still complete the online Immigration and Customs ED form free of charge. The Immigration Department is not resting on its laurels. Apart from an additional biometric corridor planned for departures, discussions are underway for one at the seaport. Furthermore, the ETA system will offer new functionalities, including a section for visitors to apply for temporary driver's license before arrival and a dedicated system for diplomats and delegates, where the service charge will be free. Chief Immigration Officer Jeffers acknowledged a current weakness in public awareness.
With all honesty, I think that is one of the areas that we have been weak in, public awareness. It is our intentions, however. I received a very comprehensive proposal from one of my staff, and it's basically focused on public awareness. It is a new unit that we intend to create, hopefully before the year ends, and that unit especially is going to be focused on everything that you would have spoken about in terms of sharing the information to the general public. Basically letting the general public know what we do, how we do what we do, without again going into so much of the security aspect of it. So it is an area that we are very weak in. As a matter of fact, we don't even have a Facebook page in 2025. So you could understand.
I'm looking for one.
So you could understand. But it is something that we would have recognized where we are short in, and it's something that we definitely is going to work on before the year ends.
He confirmed that the ETA system itself allows for feedback and concerns from the public through a chat feature and a dedicated email. In terms of accountability and transparency, the department emphasizes adherence to the Immigration Act, civil service legislation, and internal standard operating procedures.
We would have asked some officers to take an oath of secrecy. We are guided by our Immigration Act, of course, which is the Bible that we are guided by. And we are also guided by the civil service legislation, the Civil Service Act. And also we have our own immigration internal standard operating procedures. Those are what we use as our pillars for accountability with respect to how we operate and so forth in the department.
Jeff has said that the ultimate vision for the St. Kitts and Nevis Immigration Department is to become a paragon of excellence. He expressed confidence in this goal given the numerous requests from other CARICOM countries to visit and learn from their system.
We already start to fulfill our vision in becoming the excellence, paragon of excellence, and the envy of other immigration departments just by the services that we provide. And it will only get better.
You are listening to the Week in Review here on WINN FM 98.9. Thank you for listening and have a productive week.